Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our live stream here at our YouTube channel. I hope I'm clear. Everyone can hear me though. It's exactly 7 p.m. Good evening. Oh, good evening, good evening, good evening. How's everyone doing so far? Thank you so much. Official cat. Good evening, official cat. Good evening. Hi, official cat. How are you, official cat? Tired today. Oh, why? Why, official cat? Why are you so tired today? From where are you, official cat? If you don't mind sharing. I'm Jingru. Oh, hi, Jingru. So sorry, Jingru. I didn't know. Hi, Jingru. Why are you so tired today? Do you have any assignment or anything, Jingru, that you would like to ask? Do you have anything that you would like to ask for maths and science? Thank you for dropping by, Jingru, by the way. Espa. Epanda, good evening, miss. Hi, Epanda. I'm Hangzhou. Oh, what is happening here? Why are you in my live stream? Thank you, by the way, for dropping by. Thank you, appreciate it. Not really, just want to learn some math because I suck at it. I mean, what specifically in math you would like to know? Um, Support. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Algebra. Okay, sure. All right. Last time actually we discussed about factoring. So tonight we will discuss simultaneous equations. Do you know anything about simultaneous equations? Ooh, yes. So basically when we do simultaneous equations, hi Hongze. Thank you for the support. Really appreciate it. Not really. Oh, okay. Um, all right. So when we say, so this is the topic for tonight. What specific topic are you doing in math right now? I can actually change my topic. Simultaneous equations. Yes. So basically, we will be talking about percentages. Oh, all right. Let me check if I can pull out some questions here. Okay. Give me a second. I'll just look for a question. Hmm. All right. I can discuss percentages. Not a problem. Ah, all right. Okay. Yes. Not a problem. So, I can change like I'm I can literally change my topic. I was looking into simultaneous equations, but if you have problem with percentages, then we can go through percentages. Not really a problem at all. Okay. All right. Let me just check because I have a few um slides and something. Okay. So actually, when we talk about percentage, and okay, topic, okay. So when we talk about percentages, okay. So when we talk about percentages, this is actually from the word per, meaning for every, cent meaning 100. So percentages is for every 100. That is why when you look into, questions or anything with regards to percentages, it's always in terms of per 100. Now, since it is per 100, percentages is a topic right after fractions. Do you know why? Because fractions is part of a whole and percentages is part out of 100. Okay, so when we talk about fractions, when we talk about decimals, when we talk about percentages, they always go hand in hand. That means they always go together because percentages is a part of 100. So when we say 35%, that means that it's 35 over 100. It's out of 100. So if you say 40%, that means that you're taking 40 out of 100. So if you would look at it, if this is in decimal value, these are actually all equal to. So when we say percentages, that means that it's out of 100. So where the percentage is a simple fraction, it can be changed as well into a decimal. So that's like 35%. And Miss, can I please know how I find question like how much percentage is 23 of? Okay, sure. Roger that. Okay. So in maths, you have to understand that the word of, okay, the word of is actually multiplication, meaning you are to multiply. Okay, so when you say what is 25% of a number, that means you have 25% times that number. All right, so for example, I'll give you an example. Wait. Okay. Okay. Wait for a while. Let me do something here. So let's say, for example, you have 25% of 60. Okay? So when you say 25% of 60, that means that you are trying to find 25% times 60. Okay? But since 25% is 1/4, right? As a fraction. So 25%, let me use a different color. So like 25%, that's actually 25 over 100, which is 1/4. Correct? Because 25% of 60. So hence, this is actually 1/4 times 60. Okay? So that means that if you don't know and without calculator, 25% means a quarter. So you can divide. What is half of 60? Half of 60 is 30. And what is half of 30? Half of 30 is 15. So that means that half of a half is 1/4. So 1/4 of 60 is 15. So 25% of 60 means 1/4 times 60, which is 15. So it's easier when you actually convert your percentage to fraction. So if you are, I meant what is 20 percentage in 70? What is 20 percentage? Good evening, Maha Blanca. 20% in 75. Oh, okay. So it's the same Epanda. It's the same Epanda. If you are looking into 20% of 75, do you mean that way? So if you are asked what is 20% of 75, first thing that you have to do is Emo students, mom. Yes. So that means that you have to convert 20% to fraction. Okay. So 20% is equal to 20 over 100. So what is 20 over 100 in a fraction form? Oh, wait. I forgot to turn on. I was thinking why it is so hot here. I forgot to turn on the. I wonder where's Colonel. I wonder as well. Where are the other students? So what is 20% of what is 20% of what is 20%? Sorry. What is 20% in fraction? So 20 divided by 100 will be 1/5, right? 1/5. So 1/5 times 75. Okay? So 1/5. I'll use brackets. So I'm because I'm used to brackets. So 1/5 of 75. All right. So 75, what is 75 divided by 5? This is 15. So 20% of 75 is 15. Do you get it? Mm. So when we say 20%, so I meant like how much is 20 in 70? Oh, okay. I get it. I get it. A panda. Okay. So how do you convert? How do you find a number out of okay. So finding a percentage. So let's say you're asked what percentage is 20 in 75. Okay? So that's 20 divided by 75 times 100. Don't forget to multiply it by 100. Take your time. Yes, it's my student Maha Blanca. So 20, you divide it in by 75 times 100. Okay? So 20 divided by 75. So 20 divided by 75, you divide this. All right? So let's say 20 divided. So you just do this, the 75.2, you'll get 10, 14, 150. This is 0. And then you get 50, and then that is a 6, and so on and so on. So it's a 0.266 times 100. So it's 226.7. Mm. Okay, so it's 26.7%. So that is how you do it. So if you're asked what is percentage of uh, what percentage is 20 in 75, then you just need to divide it. So if you are asked, like for example, questions such as because it's what is this? Let's say for example, sure, not a problem. So let's say for example, okay, let's just go through. Let's say you have you have five friends. Okay, you have five friends. So all of you in a group is five. Okay, all of you watch movie. Two out of five likes Netflix. Let's say. So you will be asked what percentage likes Netflix. So there are five of you in the group. Two likes Netflix. So you divide 2 divided by 5 times 100. So you have to divide it. So 2 divided by 5 is zero point 0.4, okay, times 100 will be 40%. All right. So you would know that it's 40%. So 40% of your friends like Netflix. Cool. Did I answer your question? Okay. So let's try a few examples. We will have the of, and then we will do the percentage as well. Okay. So let's say, Maha Blanca, what specific in calculus that you did not understand? Let's say, what is 10% of 20? Of 120, let's say. What is 10% of 120? And what is 25% of, welcome Epanda, of 16? So if you are asked 10% of 120, so that means that that's a multiplication. So 10% in decimal is 0.1, right? It's 0.1. So 0.1 times 120, because it's easier when it's in decimal form already. So 0.1 times 120, that will be 12. So your answer will be 12. Okay? And if you are asked what is 25% of 16, 25% of 16, so the same thing, 25% is a quarter, 0.25, or 1/4, right? 1/4, 25. So you can put 0.25 times 16, or you just divide 16 by 4. So 16 divided by 2 is, divide by 2 is 8, divide by 2 is 4. So 25% of 16 is 2. Sorry, not 2, divided by 2. 4. 25% of 16, so 16 divided by 4 is 4. So this will be your answer. Okay? That is if you have the word of, meaning you're trying to find that fraction, that 10% of that number. So you multiply. But if you are asked questions such as the one that Epanda asked, like, what's the question again? Let me find a so let me find a problem. What is let's say, uh, what is 4 as a percentage in over 20? Okay, 4 as a percentage in your 20. So you just need to divide 4 divided by 20 times 100. So 4 divided by 20 times 100, then you will get what is that portion. So if you are confused, like, okay, how would I know literally what is 4? You can go back to, remember you have this in the primary. Let's say this is 20, and then you divide it by 4 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So since you're only looking at this part 4 here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts, right? So 4 divided by 20 times 100 is actually only 1 out of 5. So you can say it's 20%, because that's 1 out of 5. This is 20%, because that's 20, 20, 20, 20. That's a total of 100%. So it's 1 out of 5. So you can go back to this to just refresh you from what it is. So 4 divided by 20 times 100 is 20%. The other way of doing it as well, convert this to decimal. 4 divided by 20, that's a zero point 0.2 times 100. Let's move two decimal places, that's 20%. The 100, the number of zeros in your 100 is the number of points that you move the place value. So for example, it's a zero point 0.2 times 100. Since there are two zeros, you just move 1, 2. So that means that it's 20%. So if you have, let's say, a decimal that is 0.07, so times 100, so that's two zeros, you move 1, 2, so it's 7%. Okay, cool. All right. So if you have, let's say, you are asked 57, 57 as percentage from your 60. Okay, so you just need to divide 57 divided by 60 times 100. So 57 divided by 60 times 100. So just need to divide it. Okay, 57 divided by 60 point zero. That's a 9. 9 times 6 is 540, and then you will have 30, 100, and then that is what is that? A 5. That's a 300. So that's a 0.95 times 100. So 1, 2, that's 95%. Cool. So do remember the very important thing that you have to remember with um, percentages is one, the word of. This is the word of. Of means multiplication, and percentages is always a fraction of a number. So that's 1 over 100, right? So you just need to divide it per 100, 100%. Derivatives. Okay. What specifically with derivatives? Maha Blanca. Did I answer your question, Epanda? All good. I don't know why, but I can't find derivatives. Oh, so you are just starting with derivatives, right? I believe you are just starting with derivatives. I'm so bright. I feel like I'm so bright. I'm so bright. I'm so bright. So you are starting with differentiation, I believe, right? Is it? Is it? Is it differentiation, right, Ma Blanca? Maha Blanca. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for our 6 viewers tonight. Thank you so much. Okay. Any further question with percentages that you would like to clarify before I go? Maha Blanca, specifically what in derivatives? Okay. The derivatives, actually, the purpose of your derivatives, or this is actually under differentiation. Is it the one with differentiation? Okay. All right. I think this is on differentiation. So I'll just go on with okay. So if we say differentiation, it's this is actually because of, when you have a curve graph, you couldn't find the gradient of it, right? I mean, and differentiation, yes, because when you have a curve graph, you wanted to find the gradient. So as since you would like to find the gradient, and gradient of a curve, let's say that one, if you wanted to find the gradient, it should be a straight line. And we all know that with straight line, your function is always in the form mx plus b, right? Where your x is on 1 degree and your y is also in 1 degree. So when you are given a nonlinear function and you wanted to find the gradient, we go through differentiation. That's the purpose of differentiation. You wanted to know the gradient. All right. What do we mean by gradient? Your gradient of the line is your slope. And slope is the change in y over the change in x. Okay? Slope is the change in y over the change in x. Hence, when we do differentiation, because of the curve f of x of our function, if we wanted to find the gradient of your function, we derive it. Okay, we derive it. So to find the gradient of your function, you use the apostrophe or the hyphen on top, and you will have your change in y over change in x, dy over dx, which is your slope. That is the reason. Okay, you have your dy over dx. So how do we find a gradient of your line, or anything for that matter? So if you would like to find the derivative, so it will be your derivative will be, let's say, axn plus bxm. You need to bring down your power, and then you have to subtract the you have to subtract your what is this, the you bring down the power, so this will be multiplication, and then you have n minus 1 on top. Okay, so it will be a minus 1. So if we have this, and you are to find the differentiation, let's say, for example, you have, because it's coming from slope, right? So let's say you have y equals x squared, so dy over dx will be 2x. So you just need to bring down the power and then subtract the the power on top. Okay, so that is your dy dx. So example, because it's a change in y over change in x. Okay, that's the slope. That's the reason. So let's say, okay, let me just make this smaller. slope is change in y over change in x. So function f of x, which is your y, if you'll find the first degree, first derivative, I'm back from dinner, dy over dx. Let me know always dy, yes, dy over dx, because differentiation is to find the gradient or the slope. And slope is the change in y over change in x. So that's dy over dx. So if you are asked, let's say you're given derivative is x to the power of 5. Okay, let's say the function given is x to the power of 5. So dy over dx would be 5x, and then this will be 5 minus 1. So that will be 5x to the power of 4. So that means that if you wanted to derive anything, ax to the power of n, if you wanted to derive dy over dx, that will be n. Gaitpud ko ma'am papaya. Oh, you're eating papaya. So n ax n minus 1. It's always the case. Panda, do you have any other questions so far that you may ask about percentages? Hi, Simply Me. Good evening. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for dropping by, Simply Me. Okay. Okay. So do you get it, Maha Blanca? You just need to move your power, multiply it with your value. So this will be your um formula, or that will be how it would be. Okay. So for example, let's say you have so by the way, Ipanda, this is on differentiation. This is on differentiation. And differentiation, Miss, can you teach me some grade 9 equations since I'm preparing for year 9? Sure, 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 sure. It will be the same though. Ma'am, unsa ng apostrophe. That means that it is to the first degree. This one means it's being derived. First degree. So let's say, for example, you have this Simply Me. Let's say, for example, you have y. Y equals 2x to the power of 6. So if you're asked for the first derivative, what is derived? Derivative is from differentiation. That means that you wanted to, when we say differentiation, you are finding the gradient. Okay, you are trying to find the gradient of your line. When we say derivative or differentiation, you wanted to derive it. You wanted to find the gradient or of your curve. So since we cannot find the gradient of the curve, because gradient is a straight line, you have to derive it. So you have to take that equation and make it a straight line. How can you do it? By differentiation or deriving it. All right. So if you are given y equals 2x to the power of 6, so when you want to derive this dy over dx, this will be, you just need to bring down 6 times 2x 6 minus 1. So this will be 12x to the power of 5. That's your final answer. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Panda, I will base it on percentages, okay? Because you would still have percentages in year 9, but it will be a little advanced, a little advanced. It will be of a higher degree of difficulty. but you would still have percentages. So one of which is the one that I've shown you, 25% of 12. That is actually a question. Okay, 25% of 12. That is a question based on year 9 and IGCSE, meaning year 10. When you reach year 10, you would still have the same question. So, Maha Blanca, did I answer your question on derivative? So, oh, sorry, I think I've, so that is, this is your, this is your equation. Okay? So, bring down the power, subtract the power with 1, minus 1. And then you multiply the power by your numerical coefficient. Cool? Okay. So let's just go back a little bit with percentages. Okay. So let's go back to percentages. So this one, 25% of 12. This is actually a year 9 topic. All right. So when we say 25% of 12, you can solve this using your wait. I feel like I'm too bright. I think it's my tablet. Do we have same lessons like grading, Ara and here, Mom? Yes, you do have. So 25%, you could actually turn 25% into decimal. 0.25, and then you multiply it by 12. So if you have, instead of making it a fraction, you can make it into a decimal. So 25% of 12, then that is 1/4 of 12, then you will get 3. So the answer is 3. So for example, we wanted to find what would be, okay, so I'll show you the trend of it. Let's say 100% of 14. So 100% of 14 is basically 14, right? So it's also 14. So if we have 14, this is actually multiplied by 1. That's why you get 14. So if you say 80% of 14, that means that you multiply 14 by 0.8, because you are finding the equivalent of your decimal in fraction, in percentage is also the same. Okay, it has. So if you have a 0.8 times 14, you just need to do the multiplication of that. You will get 11.2. Okay, and then if you say 50% of 14, that's 14 times 0.5, 0.5, then you will get 7. So and so on and so forth. So 10% of 14, you will get 14 times 0.1, that is 1.4. So you would know that based on the word of, you will actually get your value. Okay? So if you have anything based on the word of, then it is being multiplied. Now, if let's say, for example, sorry about that, I heard some clicking. Another example will be, let's say you are asked, let's say you have $60, okay, and you wanted to increase of 12%. Again, the word of is there, so you know it's a multiplication. And since it is an increase, that means from 60, you will add 12% more. So from 100% of your 60, you will add 12%. So you need to multiply it by 1.12, because we know that 1 is 100, and this is the increase that you need, 1.12. So 1.12. 60 times 1.12 is how you increase. Now, if you are asked, let's say 85 decrease of, let's say, what should I use as an example? Decrease of um, 12%. Again, another 12%. So since it's decrease from 100% that you have, you minus it by 12. So 100 minus 12 is 88, right? So you multiply 85 by 0.88 because you decrease it by 12. That means that you take away 12%. So you only multiply it by 88. But if it's an increase, you add it to 100%. So therefore, all right, let's have a generalization of it. So if it is an increase, okay, wait, I'll make it smaller so that you would see. So if it is an increase in percentage, it will be 100 plus the increase. All right, increase percent. If it is a decrease, then it will be 100% minus the decrease percent. And then you just need to convert both to decimal. So again, going back, um, $60 after an increase of 12%, this will be 60 times 1.12, right? And if you are given, let's say, 3.2 after a decrease of 12%, it will be 3.2 times 0.88. So that's 88, that is 1.12. Okay, cool. Wow, thank you so much for all your support, for all the 8 viewers tonight. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Cool. So these questions are actually a year 9 and a year 10 questions. I'm taking it from a year 9 and a year 10 question. So let's say there is a discount or there is a sale, then that's it. Maha Blanca, did you understand derivative? Okay, miss. Welcome. Welcome, Epanda. So currently, what you are doing is just finding the percentage, like a fraction, converting into percentage, like part of a whole. So what you need to do is, what is the part being mentioned, divided it by the total or the whole, and then multiply it by 100. Yes, thank you, ma'am. All right. Well done. Amua. Okay. Got it. There's actually, yeah, there's actually a lot, but derivative is a very easy topic actually. It's a very easy topic. There are other ways, like for example, let me just erase this as well. There are other ways that you can actually do the derivatives. So, for example, you have a function given, y equals x squared plus 4x plus 3. So if you will derive this, this will be dy over dx. This will be 2x plus 4, and then 3 will be gone. So you have just converted it to a line actually. So then you find the gradient of your line. You're trying to make your curve a line. That's the thing. Okay? So that's how you derive. Why? Because we are deriving it based on our x. So if there's no x, then you cannot, you don't have anything to derive. It will be zero. Okay? So let's say, for example, you are given, um, let's say y equals 3x cubed minus 4x squared. Let's say, for example. So if you are to derive this dy over dx, then this will be 3 times 3, and then x to the power of 2, because that's 3 minus 1, minus 4, minus 2 times 4. X will be 1, because that's 2 minus 1. Okay? So that's a minus 1 and a minus 1 right after it. So that will be, the final answer will be 9x squared minus 8x. Good evening, Ambery. So that will be your final answer. Cool. 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 Any questions so far? Any other question? So, again, derivatives, what's the purpose of your derivative? You wanted to know the gradient of a certain line. You wanted to find, let's say, if this is your curve at a certain point of x, you wanted to know what is the gradient at this point. So that's the purpose. So you need to convert your function to you need to convert your function to a um, a gradient form, and gradient is your slope, which is change of y over change of x. That's the reason why if you have, let's say, y equals 4x squared minus 8x plus 3. So if you have dy over dx, so you're doing the gradient, the slope side, that will be 8x minus 8. Okay, only 8x minus 8. Cool. So if you are asked, let's say you're asked, what is the gradient of the line at, what should I give you? Let's say you are asked for the gradient of the line of 8x at 2, 3. So since you're asked for the gradient of the line, so you just substitute 2 to your x. So that will be 8 times 2 minus 8. So 16 minus 8, the gradient of the line at this point is 8. Okay, so that is basically derivatives. Yeah. You send it to me, Maha Blanca, next time, so I can show you how other questions on derivatives can be done. Because there are fractions as well. There are fractions of it. There are other form. What if you have a negative as a power, or what if you are given a fraction, or what if there are um, term over term, meaning brackets over a bracket. So there are other rules as well for derivatives. So you have to be specific, like tangent, normals of your line. Now, there's a lot of topics under derivatives. It's not just this one. This is just the introductory part of derivatives, deriving a function. So what if you have so how does this derivative would look like? It would look like this is the curve, and then at this point you have here the tangent, which is 2, 3. That is where it, oh, you can't even see it. So let's say this is your curve, and then you wanted to find this line here, and this is 2, 3. So you wanted to find the gradient. What is the slope if it was at this point? So you wanted to find this line. That's the purpose of derivatives. At a certain slope, let's say this is the portion of your slope for this one. At this point, this is 2, 3. What is the gradient of that line? So you draw a straight line, you find first the derivative, and then you substitute x. Then you get your gradient. Oh my goodness. This is... Okay. Miss, is there a formula to position to term rule? Position term rule. Yes, there is. There is a formula. There's actually a shortcut for that. If it's just an arithmetic sequence, for arithmetic sequence, okay, it is an equals a1 plus n minus 1 times d. Your an here is your nth term. Okay, whatever is your nth term, this is your first term. This is your term position. And then this d is your common difference. Yeah. So this is the formula if you wanted to know the term rule. So let's say, for example, you're given... let me just erase the terms, okay? Because I don't have space to write. So that's the formula. So let's say you're given 2, 5, 8, 11, and dot, dot, dot. And if you are asked what is the term formula or the term rule, what is the term formula or the nth term? So this one here is your first term, right? So first is you have to identify what is the difference. So for you to find the difference, you just need to subtract second term to the first term. That is a 3. This is a 3. This is a 3. So the common difference is 3. All you need to do is substitute it to your formula. So an equals, the first term is 2 plus n. You don't change n, because n is for you to be able to know what is the term that is being asked. Minus 1 times 3. So you multiply it by 3. So this will be an equals 2 plus 3n. So you distribute 3, 3n minus 3. So that's 3n minus 1. This is your term. Okay. Wait, let me transfer it. You can see it. An equals 3n minus 1. So if you would try, if you would if you would try to use this formula here, okay, if you would try to use this formula, so 3, and then you just substitute 3 times 1 minus 1, that's actually a 2, which is your first term, okay, because you substituted it with 1. 3 times 2 minus 1 is actually a 5, which is your second term. So the n there is your position, the nth term. Okay? So that is how you do it. But there is a shortcut. What is the shortcut? Simple. Once you know the difference, okay, once you know the common difference, you just place the n with it. So the common difference is 3. Then you place 3n, okay, because the common difference is 3. And then you subtract the first term minus the difference. This one. First term minus the difference. So 2 minus 3 is negative 1. So you place minus 1. That's why you have 3n minus 1. So if you are to be asked what is the 20th term, you just need to substitute n with 20. So 3 times 20, that is a 60. Miss, does the shortcut always work? Yes, it always work for arithmetic. Yes, it always work. Okay? So the difference, again, it's the difference. Place it with n and then subtract 2 minus the difference, 2 minus 3. I'll give you another example. So that you would see that it really works. But it works for arithmetic, okay? When we say arithmetic, it's only that one. So let's say, for example, I have mhm, that. Okay? Let's say, for example, that is our arithmetic sequence. So you just need to subtract first. 10. So it's always the second minus the first, the third minus the second, the fourth minus the third. So it's always that way. So 10 minus 4 is 6. 16 minus 10 is 6. 22 minus 16 is 6. So this is your difference. So you place AN. That's a 6. So 6. Then you place your N with it. Okay. 6 times N. And then you subtract 4 minus 6 is negative 2. So you place minus 2 there. Then you can check it. So if let's say, okay, I wanted to check if it's really correct. So 6 times 1 minus 2 is 4, which is correct. That's the first term. Okay. 6 times 2, sorry, minus 2. 6 times 2 is 12, minus 2 is 10, which is the second term. 6 times 3, all right, minus 2. 6 times 3 is 18, minus 2 is 16, which is the third term. So it is always correct. I'll give you another example where it is not minus. Let's say you have, mm, let's say 6, 1, negative 4, negative 9. Okay? So if you subtract 1 minus 6 is minus 5. Negative 4 minus 1 is minus 5. Negative 9 minus 4 is minus 5. So the difference is minus 5. So the same thing. AN, you place minus 5N. So that's negative. You cannot see because it will be covered with my head. AN equals minus 5N. Okay, because that's a minus 5. And then 6, that's a 6 minus negative 5. So 6 minus negative 5 is 11. So that's negative 5n plus 11. Okay? Because 6 minus, all right, remember that? 6 minus negative 5 is 11. So 6 minus negative 5 is 11. So it's negative 5n plus 11. Cool? So if Ma'am, delete the plate. Oh yes. Oh, so sorry, Ma Blanca. Next week. We will play next week. Oh, it's already 8. Sorry about that. Next week we will play Jackbox. Okay? Yes, miss. All right. It only works for arithmetic. There is a shortcut for the other sequences, but that's another topic to talk about. It's already 8 o'clock. Cool. I hope that you were able to understand our discussion tonight. Last week. Oh, sorry, Maha Blanca. Yeah, because it's already 8. I don't want to go beyond the time because I have other things to do as well. Don't worry, we will play Jackbox next week. Sorry about that. All right. Do you have any question before we end? I think that's the last one that we have for tonight. By the way, our live stream here in our YouTube channel is only an hour. I haven't extended it to many hours because um it's still okay for now, for an hour, because we're just revising one topic at a time. So I hope to see you next week. It's already 8 o'clock. I hope to see you next week for another live stream here in our YouTube channel. And thank you so much for those who dropped by, stayed, and asked questions. Epanda, thank you so much. Who else was there? Epanda, thank you so much. Official Cat, thank you as well for dropping by. Maha Blanca, thank you so much as well. Ambery, thank you so much for dropping by. And Simply Me, thank you for so much for dropping by. We will definitely play next week, but not now because it's already 8. Most probably we will. Thank you for teaching, Miss. Welcome, Epanda. I hope that you were able to understand as well arithmetic sequence, percentages, and derivatives, even though in a very short live stream that we have here. Thank you, and I hope that to see you again next week. It's every Tuesday here in our YouTube channel. As always, it's your teacher here, Teacher Maria. I'll see you next week. Bye bye. Good night, everyone. God bless. Good night. All right, that's nice. Thank you so much, Panda. Good night, everyone. God bless. Good night. Thank you, Maha Blanca. Good night.